In this video, I am going to demonstrate how you can build your very first component using React Native. Recall that React Native is a collection of components. You get your core components, like the Vue component, from the React Native application. Then you get community components, which are components that you get from the community packages that you must install. Lastly, you get native components that you create yourself. Keep in mind that all of these belong within the umbrella of React components. React Native is essentially written in React, which means you can create as many custom React components as you'd like. You can, for instance, create a component for the header, a component for the footer, one for the menu bar, and so on. Components are essentially reusable pieces of code, and you can create as many React components as you'd like. In my example, where I am building a LittleLemonRestaurant app, I need to display a header that says LittleLemonRestaurant. Let me demonstrate how this is done. To create a reusable header, I need to have a components folder in React Native. If you don't have one, create a components folder, and within the folder, create a new file. I call the file LittleLemonHeader.js. This is where I'm going to add the code for the header. Now, within the LittleLemonHeader.js file, I'm going to copy and paste the component that I have in App.js. I'm calling it LittleLemonHeader. Notice that all React components have to be capitalized and need to begin with a capital letter. Within the LittleLemonHeader component, I am going to add text for our header, namely LittleLemonRestaurant. The text component will be rendered within the parent Vue component. That will be the header text that is displayed on the mobile screen. My header component is now ready. It's a reusable piece of code, and all it does is display the header text, which in this case is LittleLemonRestaurant. Now, anytime I need this header within this application, regardless of whichever screen it's on, I simply use the same header component. Isn't that neat? Now, let me go back to my app.js file and utilize this component. Firstly, I need to import the component that I just created. I am going to use the import keyword to import our LittleLemonHeader component from the components folder. Your IDE, like VS Code, should be smart enough to find the component. So, it found it in component/LittleLemonHeader. Now, within the app component, which is basically the root of my application, I'm going to render the LittleLemonHeader component. So, within the Vue component, I can call the LittleLemonHeader component, and that's it. My app is now ready. It is basically utilizing the LittleLemonHeader, which is the reusable header component. How does this header now display on the emulator? Notice that the text is on the very top, because I haven't styled it. To display this better, I am adding a style property to the Vue component, as well as the Flex1 property. I am then adding a justified content of FlexStart, and I am also including a padding of 45 pixels. When you now go back to the emulator, the header is visible. There you go. You see the LittleLemonRestaurant header being displayed on your emulator. On your IDE, what's cool is if you have components that you've created, you can always right-click on your new component and then click on Go to Definition, and that will take you to your newly created components. And this is neat because you have the app component calling this custom header component that you just built. You have now learned how to build your first component using React Native. Go ahead and practice this new skill. That is the best way to learn.